So today is my artist check-in again. It's the end of another week. I'm so bored just doing that. Yeah, so it is the end of week 3. So, oh, cool. Yeah. So fuck it, let's do it. Let's do this check-in. So how many days this week did you do your morning pages? How was the experience for you? If you skipped a day, why did you skip it? How did the book know I skipped a day? I did skip a day this week. I did 6 out of 7 days. I skipped a day because I had what was it? Not an interview. How do I say it? Was it the shadow day that I didn't do my pages? Yeah, I believe so. So it was technically an interview. It was my 3rd interview for this one company. And I was shadowing someone that day to see what they do. And then I completed the interview by the end of the day. I got the job. You know, I'm grateful for that. I'm just gonna say that. I'm grateful. Yeah, I didn't do my pages that day because I woke up and I just started getting ready, and I was gonna write on the train, but the Long Island Railroad moves fast. It was no time to write on that train. I was literally eating my porridge on that train and drinking my tea, collecting myself. So yeah. Didn't do my pages that one day though. And yeah. How was the experience with my pages this week? I feel like I need to take this week to reprioritize. Is that even a word? But I just need to make sure I'm prioritizing these pages. Waking up, writing 3 full pages, because that is always the goal for me. Making sure I get everything out and I complete those 3 full pages. Some days I am just satisfied with just waking up and just writing something at least. I'm always grateful to be okay, I wrote something today, So, but I do want to make sure that I am getting out those 3 full pages and just writing about whatever is going on in my mind, in my body at the moment, so that I can get my day started. It's kind of like a sort of meditation. I was actually just meditating a moment ago, and it was just a lot of thoughts going on, and it was me with my thoughts. And whenever a thought that I feel like I didn't like came up, I reassured myself. I gave myself grace. I gave myself patience, and I talked myself through that moment. I breathed through it. I sat and I just let myself just be. That's something I like to do. A moment of mindfulness. And I feel like the pages is something that is very similar to that. You're writing what's going on in your head, right? First thing that comes up, and then you kind of write instinctively, or at least I do. You write instinctively, a solution for an issue that came up, or a reassurance to an old insecurity that's passing through at the moment. So yeah, stuff like that. Definitely. So definitely want to prioritize my pages. Definitely. Yeah. Boom. Did you do your artist date this week? What did you do? How did it feel? So I am doing my artist date today, right after this. It's like a little kind of chill day for me, a restful day. So I'm about to go take a walk and get some ginger so I can make myself some tea. And make some breakfast as well. And then my artist date is gonna be, it's kind of like vision boarding. But I'm gonna do it in my notebook. Sometimes I like to do that. And these pages are almost out in this book, right? So I'm gonna do that like vision board idea inside my new book so that I have something like the very first couple of pages. That's what's there, you know, my vision, you know, stuff to remind me like what the goal is. I even have a vision board in here, like vision papers, whatever you want to call it, vision board, vision papers, or like just different stuff, you know, stuff like that. That's what that is gonna, my other book is gonna consist of. And then it's just gonna have ideas of stuff like that I enjoy around it. So boom, yes, that is the plan for today, for my artist date. I'm sure I'm gonna enjoy it. I always love like scrapbooking and stuff. Like, it's always fun. It is, at least for me. I love doing it. I really do enjoy doing it. It's something that I picked up like a couple months ago. Well, it's actually something that I had done before when I was in elementary school, like scrapbooking, you know, like literally taking different things that I like, that I feel like goes together, and gluing them in the book. I forgot what teacher did. I think it was Miss Gutierrez. Is that her name? Something like that. But she was a really cool lady. It was like an after school program kind of vibe thing, and we just used to scrapbook. Yeah, so that is my artist date for today. And I feel like this week for me was a lot about rest, coming back to myself, you know, cleansing out the old so that I can focus on what's going on in here with me, and so I can just curate and create my next steps in life. Yeah, I didn't know if I should consider it a artist date, but I feel like it is an artist date as well. I went to the spa. It was so fun. It was so fun. Like, it wasn't fun in a sense where like I was like, you know, playing around and stuff. I was just kind of there, like enjoying the warmth of the pool. It was a bathhouse I went to, not a spa. It was a bathhouse. And they have like different types of pools. They have like the cold plunge, the neutral pool, and then the heated pool. Like, so yeah. And then they have a bunch of saunas. I went inside of one of the saunas, and it was like, oh, so refreshing. Like, I can feel all, I could feel all of like the steam. Just when I breathed in, I could feel it expanding my lungs, if that makes sense. Like, I could just feel, it felt really good. It felt so very good. Goodness, it was so good. That is somewhere where I would like take my friends or a partner. Or I actually told my sister next time she comes out here, we should do something like that together, because it was so relaxing and I enjoyed it. It was a a moment of mindfulness, you know, and I hope my peoples get to experience that. Word. Did you experience any synchronicity this week? What was it? I know like the way she was describing synchronicities is like when things come up, like kind of pertaining to your path or whatnot, like stuff that relates to what you want to do, like, you know, what you're asking for or whatever. Do I feel like any synchronicities came up? Honestly, I met a person who, okay, I'm gonna say yes I did, because okay, boom. So I met a person, actually it's from that new job, and he also like makes music, or I'm not sure if he still does it, but it was more than one thing about that experience that I feel like was like, it was just meant to be like, okay, boom. So that job is fundraising, and they're kind of teaching you like I was taking notes for like this conversation we were having the other day, and it was like, you know, what do you need for a business, that kind of thing, right? And so I'm just gonna say, right, last year, I don't know if any of what I just said made sense, but I'm gonna keep going. Just okay, so boom, he makes music, and then he was teaching me like the fundamentals of a business. Boom. So last year I went to beauty school, right? Or I started beauty school because I had the idea to fund my music through another business that, you know, something that intrigued me, another hobby. You know, I wanted to make money off of one of my hobbies. So I've always wanted to get into doing nails. I love my nails so much. One of my nails broke, but anyway, something that I really wanted to prioritize was like my nail health and being able to do my own nails as well, because like I've always loved a long dramatic nail look, right? So, you know, I get the acrylics and stuff, and I get like crazy cool designs on it, but my nail sets to be coming out to a lot of money, a lot, like, oh goodness, I think almost two something, maybe $300 for a nail set to go to LA for a trip for a week. Yeah, but yeah, I was just like, if I'm paying this person that amount of money for my nails because I care that much about it, I'm sure that for one, I can do this for myself. I can learn this skill and do it on myself, save myself some money. And once I learn how to do it, I can do it for other people and also make that kind of money for myself. Making that kind of money for myself would definitely put me in a more stable position financially. That would be like one source of cash flow for me, you know. And I could be able to take that money and put it towards what I really want to do in this life, which is make music, you know, and that is what I've been focusing on. Boom. So just learning the fundamentals of a business, and also, you know, meeting someone who makes music, like that definitely feel like it resonates with me and where I'm like supposed to be in life in this moment in time. You know, also got this cool idea from him. He was telling me like he went on a tour, like he was just kind of driving around and promoting himself, you know, to people. Like he was like literally performing in his friends' like living rooms and stuff, and telling them to invite people over. I feel like that's a really good idea. I think that's a good idea. I would definitely think more into that, but I got it written in my notes though. And honestly, like with that other part being said, like the whole the whole business thing and like going to beauty school and stuff. So I had took a break from school. It was a lot going on in like the end of 2025 for me. Like it was so much going on. Like it was a lot of like beauty school. Like I gotta remember sometimes like the women that go there, like they're really passionate about this stuff. Like that is their calling. And the teachers, like that's their calling as well, like doing hair and teaching this, like, you know. So I get it. I always want to be good and supportive of someone else's dream, But also, I want people to be considerate of me as a person. Like, I'm here, I exist. Don't put too much pressure on me because this is your dream. You feel me? Like, it's not my dream. I'm here for a reason, if that makes sense. And that was one of the things that was like, all right, this school, like, I think I need a break. And then something else happened, something way more personal happened at school that, like, I kind of got like a trigger from an old, like, just past experiences. It wasn't something that sat right with me. And it was like, it was a lot going on in my mind at the time. Like, literally not long before that trigger happened, it was another trigger that I didn't even like recognize what it was at the moment. You know, like, being able to manage PTSD can be challenging at times. And during that time, I didn't know how to process what had happened, or, like, you know, like the memories that were coming up or that came up and how they made me feel. I didn't know how to process them. I wasn't in therapy yet. I was doing my best to get therapy back in the summertime. But I was talking to a psychiatrist, and, like, she was like diagnosing me, and she didn't want to see me unless I was on any medication. So I was just like, maybe that's not the answer. But I went to a regular therapist after the fact. So I've been seeing my therapist and stuff. It's been pretty cool. Yeah, it was just a lot going on. I took a break from school, and back to the original thought before I got so personal. I got this email literally like 2 days ago, I want to say. And I've been thinking about it again, like doing the nails so that I can be able to fund my life the way I want to, do what I really want to do in this life, which is make music with my friends and be just cool and creative and quirky and all that good stuff, you know? So I got this email 2 days ago from the federal aid shit, whatever you want to call it, FAFSA. And they were telling me that my grace period is almost up, which means I either have to pay them their money or I have to go back to school for at least half of the time. So I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna go back to school. Like, I feel like that was like pretty cool synchronicity. Yeah, that happened. A lot of things, I feel like they just happen, they line up, and I'm doing my best to take it one day at a time. I don't want to rush too much, jump into anything. I'm going to give myself like another week or so before I go up to the school and re-enroll for classes. But your girl is figuring it out. She's figuring out her path, and I've got this. I've got this, and I'm going to do it. I'm gonna do it. I am doing my best not to overwhelm my brain with all the details of it, because, like, you know, I just want to make sure that I'm doing what's best for me, and I can also be able to prioritize myself. I wasn't sure whether I should do part-time or full-time again, but I know I'm gonna figure it out. I have got this. I'm gonna sit down and write about it some more. I wrote about it today in my pages. Boom. And I'm gonna write about it some more. You know, just see what's going on so I can make a decision and know what I'm like really doing or whatever. You know, because that's important to me. Okay. And the final question is, were there any other issues this week that you consider significant for your recovery? Any issues? I'm gonna say just time management, for real. That is something that is so like very valuable. Like, I am doing my best to manage my time so very well, and that is something that I'm gonna keep working at, because like it's just important. is just really, really, really important, you know, to be able to have that time, to make that time for myself, for what I know I want to do, for the things I feel that I have to do, you know, stuff like that. You know, I want to make it in this life. So I am doing my best to manage my time. I feel like that's the only thing that is coming up for me this week. Other than that, I had a beautiful week. A beautiful week. I'm gonna be like completely honest. The week was beautiful. It was, you know, as good as it could have been. It was peaceful. I really like was doing my best to take this week, this time to like just clear energies and come back to myself, like for real. Because for me, like being able to come back to myself is so very important. It really, really is. You know, it's like an underrated thing, like being able to like deal with the stuff that's going on in the world, and then like be able to be like, okay, I'm here with myself. I know who I am. You know, stuff like that. Beautiful week though. I had a beautiful week. I guess that is all for today. And yeah, love you. Laters.